Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani, and welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism and narcissistic relationships. So, let's take on something when people are stuck in very unempathic or narcissistic systems. This is a reminder to you that there may still be empathic people in those systems. So, let's take this on. This is sort of an uncharacteristically positive video for me, but let's give it a shot. The most difficult part of narcissistic systems, which I consider to be systems where there is at least one significantly narcissistic person who is pulling the levers, their behavior can result in triangulation and discomfort in this system, just about every time. Most commonly, these are families with a parent as the narcissistic person sort of at the head of the line. And this impacts the other parents, siblings, extended family. There may be more than one, perhaps both parents, perhaps a parent and a grandparent, aunts or uncles. And as you get to adulthood, it may be a narcissistic sibling. In a workplace, it can be the boss or the leadership that's narcissistic, but you might also see the narcissism in multiple managers, leaders, colleagues. In fact, where there is one narcissistic person, there tends to be more, especially in workplaces where the narcissistic folks may thrive if there is narcissistic leadership in place. More bad behavior is rewarded under those circumstances. Then, of course, these systems may be heavily populated by enablers who embolden the narcissistic person and shame folks who may speak out against the narcissistic person. But then there's a problem. There may still be, I don't know if it's a problem, but there may still be empathic people in these systems. They are human lifeboats, life preservers, and oases in the midst of the desolation. They have their reasons for being stuck in these systems, just like you. The reason for this video, though, is that we run the risk of throwing the baby out with the proverbial bathwater when it comes to narcissistic systems. Because embedded in these systems that are often ruined by toxic people, embedded in these places, there are empathic people. It's like landing on a desert island that has all kinds of dangerous things and finding out, though, there's a few kindred spirits living on that island that will help you survive. Listen, if you are empathic and stuck in one of these systems, why wouldn't there be others? It's like life on other planets. There's bound to be some somewhere. This is an important thing to know because not all of us have the luxury of leaving these toxic systems. Some of us can't just cut family out. Many of us can't quit jobs. While walking away and going no contact seems so appealing and so easy, and it does work, it's simply not an accessible format to everyone. So your very survival may depend on finding the other good spirits within it. We sometimes don't think to look because the entire system is so toxic. We imagine there can't be any little islands of sanity and safety. Lots of people are enduring narcissistic abuse in a variety of systems, and we obviously aren't alone. Find those people. It could be useful just to start up even the most casual conversations. And you also have to, at the same time, be careful because toxic systems are notorious for mistrust and information coming back to bite you. Start small. Find the people who are emotionally available and kind. Get to know them. They don't need to be your friends, but they can be your life preservers and the sorts of dry rocks you could use to jump across to avoid the narcissistic mud. I'm a firm believer that many people can survive in a toxic system if they have at least one good person to turn to within it. One person who has empathy, who sees you and who doesn't gaslight you, who's not an enabler but is just a decent person. The fear is often that we will lose our empathy if we are in one of these systems long enough. It doesn't quite work that way. We can definitely experience burnout or compassion fatigue, but we don't lose the empathy. I have known survivors who have been through it, and they're still absolutely lovely, kind, compassionate, and empathic. When I reflect on the various toxic worlds I've occupied, the ones I couldn't make it, where I couldn't think I would survive, I lasted quite a long time because of those empathic people. We get stuck in these systems for a variety of reasons. And that means that if you can think of this as a desert island and find that fellow empathic survivor, you may just be able to stay a little bit more sane. It is quite possible. Any toxic system I've had to stay in for a protracted time, the only reason I didn't completely lose the plot was because I had at least one empathic person I could turn to. And when some of those systems became devoid of those empathic people was when it was almost like the house was burning and I had to run out of it. It was really, really getting almost bad for my health. So try to find those people if you haven't found them already, because even in the most treacherous toxic spaces, there can be some very good people. Thanks again.